Okay, so same day, February 14th, 2022. We're going to start with this. Okay, I haven't used this. I got another one here, but we're going to use this one for now. One weighs more than the other, but besides that point, we're going to use this. I just cleaned it. Just letting it air dry for a little bit underneath to grind up these, which I'm going to combine with a tomato and some of the broccoli. The broccoli is a non-starchy food, and the tomato is an acidy food. Okay? So that's what we're going to combine. And then if I have to, I'll add butter to it after the fact in terms of the consistency. But we won't know until this cooks up, because I'm going to have to cook it, people. Okay? I won't cook these. Broccoli's already been cooked. But I'll cook this first. And then I'll run... I don't know. This is my first attempt. So, how to use this section. Okay, this is a YouTube safe video. Unless I veer off and see something that I might want to talk about, like Trudeau saying that people like my family are just a waste of space. But besides that point, how to use this section of fruits. Okay, alright, so here it says, and you have to remember, I'm struggling with my eyes, because I'm dealing with these fluorescent lights. Doesn't help. This is that apple juice from 2016. I'm drinking some. Amari's drinking it. He's actually a little sick today. I can smell it. You know, he's not his robust self. But besides that point, that's okay. He got traumatized, so he's a little under the weather. He doesn't have a fever. You know, he's not puking at this point, but he's a little under the weather, but he's drinking his apple juice. I'm drinking the apple juice. So that makes me feel good, okay? I'm trying to avoid these drinks, okay? But we've got this, okay? This is for the protein. But in the meantime, quantities expressed in 100 grams. Remember I told you that. Throughout the encyclopedia section, there are references to quantities of grams, GM, and milligrams, mg. For food listed here, the quantity is usually 1 cup. Obviously, I can't give Amari 1 cup, okay? Although, of course, a cup of raisins would be heavier than a cup of chopped celery. The controlling weight is 100 grams. Okay, which is equivalent to 3.5 ounces, whatever that word is. Thus, for example, almonds contain 18.6 grams of protein per 100 grams. Which means that in an ordinary serving of almonds of approximately 3.5 ounces, there would be 18.6 grams of protein. I'm not worried about protein per se as I am about calories. In a similar manner, almonds contain 254 milligrams of calcium to 100 grams, which, again, is the quantity of the usual individual serving. But that would be for an adult. Okay, so hold on. Okay, so we're going to start with cashews. Okay, there's the calories that we're shooting for, but obviously we're not going to give Amari 100 grams. This is based on 100 grams, okay? I'm pretty sure I read that correctly. Alright? So now I put cashew nuts. Right? And I'm going to put a little bit in here and see what we get. Hold on. Okay. Here's a calculator. Because I'm going to have to calculate. Right? Okay, you see how everything takes so long? So we open up these cashews. Alright. Alright, so we're starting with cashews. I got it on 0. So let's see. Five grams. That's not very many, people. Like I said, I'm afraid. I'm completely afraid. Okay. I think we don't want to stress out his gut. Okay. So I'm going to do 15 grams here. What do you think? Right, because, you know, he's just a little guy, right? That should be enough to be mixing in with broccoli and tomato, right? Or we can round it off at 30 grams, because even if I cook up this whole tomato, put in some broccoli and that, he's not going to eat all that in one sitting, people. That's the thing, right? So if we go 30 grams, that's a lot. Look how much that is. That would clog them up for sure. So I can't do that. There's no way. I can't risk it. So we're just going to work with 15 grams. And then I'll have to calculate how many calories that is. So I'm going to have to get into my math. It's been a long time, but I know how to do that. I was pretty good at it at one point in the past. I just have to remember how to do it. What happened? Why is it doing that? Oh my God. See, I don't know how to use this, people. Oh Lord. Hold on a minute. Okay, so the bowl itself is 33 grams, but I got it back down to a 0, so I'm assuming this is working correctly. We'll put back in what we got there. Now we're at 14. I basically want 15 grams. So we'll just throw one more in there and see what we get. There. Okay. So we got 15 grams of cashews. So I'll write that down, and then I'll have to calculate out of 100 how many calories that is. We've got a nice fresh tomato that Tisha got for me yesterday. So I'm going to end up combining it all. Now, whether I give it to him all at one time, I probably won't. But because we're going to throw in some broccoli still, right? And then butter. So what is this? That's 118 gram. Like, this takes time, people. So, and like every time you do this, it's almost like, you know, it's going to change. Every tomato is going to be different. Right? So it's 118 grams, right? Oh, 19. 119 grams. I don't know how many calories that is. Well, I can go look and we can find out what it is for 100 grams. The cashew nuts is 15 grams. Okay, hold on. Okay, I don't remember how to do this. It's been so long. We want to know, so if 100% is 575 calories for cashews at 100%, at 100 grams, 15 grams, okay, I'm thinking here, I'm trying to figure this out, people. So if that's 100%, 15%, what is 15%? Or 15 grams. Okay, so if it's 100 grams, right, that's how many calories in 100 grams, but we only got 15 grams versus 100. we need to know, right? So how does this work? You cross multiply. Isn't that how you do it? It's been so long I can't remember. And of course I can't see. You know that. I can't see shit. Can't see nothing. Here we go. Okay, so let's cross multiply here. So we'll take, let's see what happens. 15 times 575 equals 8,670. Divide by 100. I don't know. I don't think I'm doing this right. Equals 86 grams. So 86 grams, right? So 86 grams, 0.7, right? Okay. Times well, how many, okay, so if you have 100 grams, divide by 15 equals 6.66. Okay, so we take that number and we multiply it to that times, I'm double checking to see if I did this right. 7 equals, there we go. We're 1 point off. Right? We're 1 point off. Do you see? Okay. Where am I? Right? So, 15 grams is 86.7 calories. Alright? So we'll just write that down. 0.7 cal. Okay? For 15 grams. One tomato at 100 grams is only 20 calories at 100 grams. Broccoli, see, this is what I like about this book, but you can see where the problem comes in with not enough calories when you're trying to bring in these vegetables. And because of the nut, you know, there's only so much nut you can put inside of him, because otherwise that will definitely clog him up. Right? So broccoli for 100 calories is only 29. So we'll go broccoli. Okay? We'll do 100 grams, because I'm sure I've got that in the fridge that I cooked up yesterday. And that's 29 calories. Okay? So, just with those three, without any additives like butter or mayonnaise or coconut oil. Okay? And you have to remember, everything is dark for me, people. Okay? These fluorescent lights are killing my eyes, on top of the stress and just the fact that I have glaucoma with PSI pressure of over 50 every fucking day. Okay? With shitty glasses. Not complaining, just saying. Plus 20 plus 29 equals, that's only 135 calories. See, this is why they want me to give them these drinks. But these drinks they're not, no. Gonna have to find a different way. Okay? Now that in itself, well, I'll cook it up and we'll see how much it is, and it will probably be too much for him to eat at one sitting. I can tell you that right now. Okay? Assuming that I can get him to eat it. Now, mind you, for something like this, I mean, butter is something I can add in, right? I'm thinking mayonnaise because he likes mayonnaise. Right? 100 calories to 1 tablespoon. I don't know what butter is. Okay? Now, I was going to give him bran and banana last night. Put the maple syrup on there with the sugar and stuff, but he just, I don't know, he came down, he didn't want to eat it, so I didn't force him. Okay? Here's that plum that I don't know what I'm going to do with. Prune. I don't know what I'm going to do with it yet. Okay? And he's a little peaked today. I can smell it. Andre says, "How can you smell he's sick, Nana?" I said, "Well, because, grandmas and mums and, we can tell. Kids get a certain kind of smell about them, right? When you know they're not, because he's just really just not. He doesn't have a fever. He drank his apple juice, so that makes me feel good. But obviously, he picked up a small bug. So, I'm trying not to get stressed out. Now, I would suspect that once I get the numbers down with the main food groups, I won't have to do this. You see, these things here, oh boy. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to open up this one and I'm going to put it in a bottle. I'm going to leave it on the counter. And in the next couple of hours, you're going to see what it does. And I'm going to show you. For this, there is what's the calorie count on it? Well, I would think calorie. Yeah, okay. Per 100 grams is 150. This is 237. So this little drink here by itself provides 355 calories. This is why they prescribe it. Right? Versus prescribing stuff like this. They just want to know what you feed them so that they can calculate a general idea in terms of the amount of calories that you're giving them and then top it off with these things. There was another drink that they took away and then they ended up giving me the powder, but that powder is a no-go for sure. And because even when you think you're feeding them correctly, like what I'm doing here, sounds pretty good, right? Considering all things said. But as soon as you bring in your vegetables, there goes the calories out the door, right? Even though you think you're doing the right thing, right? And then they say children with cerebral palsy, because of their situation where, in Mari's case, the right side of his body gets a little tense, right? Leg curling in, he's, right? I guess they say that they use more energy to be active and doing whatever it is, so therefore they require more calories. And that's another reason why they push this on you, to up that calorie, where they're, you know, give them 2,900 calories a day by any means necessary. Doesn't matter what happens after the fact, as long as you fatten him up like a little fucking butterball. Even though he'll never get fat. Unless, of course, that's all you did was feed him all day long. The question is it going to come out on the other end? Well, obviously not. We just went through that now, didn't we? Right? So, and of course, the longer I do this, the longer it takes away from doing other things. But, you know, I'm just saying, like, I get a lot of pressure, you know, like, I got to finish up the basement. And, you know, I want to clear out and do other, spring is coming, just whatever. But I'm up for it, right? I got the butter. And that's another thing. You know, this is how they get you, people. The government and their workers. That's it. This, okay. All right. It's one thing having to do this. You know, most poor people couldn't afford butter unless they went into debt for it, like me, and stayed in debt. Just so that you can give them butter versus margarine. I'm using this as an example. This is how they set you up for failure. Okay? Now, I've been using butter for years, so I don't even remember the last time I bought margarine. Okay? It's not something I like. Never really have. Butter is better for you. It's easy on your digestion. Okay, now this one is just a no-name butter that I went and got from my local corner store. That's when I was being a big spender on that day and just bought a whole bunch. Tisha's been going to the major food chains, and there is a butter shortage, people, okay? She goes into stores, you know, Save On Foods, Canadian Superstore, places like that. Chances are, if she finds butter, she's looking at $6 to $8 a pound. You're only allowed to buy 2 at a time, and there's been a couple times where there was no butter because of what our governments are doing. Now, I've been stockpiling on butter because some I like in the freezer, but I'm going to be making ghee. Ghee with mostly amari on mine, okay? And maybe for cooking or something, I don't know. I just know that that's a good way to preserve butter for long term, in the event that things get worse and you won't be able to buy it, okay? But yet, I'm expected to give it to Amari even if it's not available in the grocery store. Do you understand what I'm saying here? So that opens you up for attack. Just by default. So, 2 tablespoons of butter is only 70 calories. And that's 10 grams. So, we're going to write down 2 tablespoons at 10 grams equals 70 calories. We're still not at very many calories. So that's 135.7, add 70, and if we add in a cup of milk, that's 160, okay? That's 5, 7, 16. That's 365 calories, which is almost the equivalent of one of these drinks. Okay? I don't know if I'll be able to get him to eat the whole thing at one time, or if it's even practical. Right? If I bring in You see, I don't want to bring in that starchy food because we're using the cashews. We want the cashews to do their magic. So this would be, I could make this, which I'm going to, okay? This is the point of this video, all right? I'm not rushing with it either, okay? I'm going to make this. I don't know how much he's going to eat today because he didn't want to eat yesterday. He ate the first meal, but you seen he was whining. He was whining, so he was already getting fussy, okay? And then last night I tried to give him some more, and he just, some other food. I even sweetened it up with the maple sugar, and he just wouldn't take it. So, of course, I'm not going to force him, right? I was happy that he took the apple juice, but I can smell that he's not feeling very well because children get a smell about them. But he doesn't have a fever, so I'm not worried. And he's just kind of sleepy, so I'm just going to let him sleep, right? Just, you know, let it work itself out, right? I mean, he was just at the hospital, okay? And whatever was going on, x-ray this and x-ray that and emina this and just in the ambulance. And so he's feeling kind of peaked right now. So in a situation like this, you don't want to start throwing in potatoes and rice and sweet potatoes and all that other stuff because it kind of offsets the cashew doing what the cashew can do with the broccoli and the tomato. Okay, do you see where I'm going with this? Right? The next meal, maybe then you could introduce the sweet potato with, now this is a no-name corn. When I was downstairs, I noticed this, okay? I don't remember when I bought it, but anyway, it's a cream-style corn. And I know corn is full of calories. Well, let's look now. And when I was reading that list in that book in terms of the foods that you can use for constipation, corn was listed there. So I got cream corn. So let's see how many calories in this. I'm going to sneeze. A half a cup. You see, I couldn't give him a half a cup, people. That would be too much. But for a half a cup, we're looking at 110 calories. A quarter cup would be 55 calories. So I take the corn as the, assuming that this book is correct, this shouldn't be constipating. A sweet potato technically shouldn't be constipating, but it's the starch. But now I'm adding two starches and I'm putting them together. Is that gonna kind of like defeat what I'm trying to do here with the cashews and the tomato and the freaking broccoli? Is the corn and the sweet potato gonna be the one that clogs them up and then everything just piles up, piles up, piles up, piles up? He's not pooing, or if he is, he's only pooing a little bit. Clearly it's not enough, but what am I supposed to do? I'm being told not to use suppositories if I can help it, right? You know what I'm saying? I'm using PEG, but obviously it's not working, right? Because I've been using it, right? Obviously it didn't unclog them. So, you know, like, I'm just sharing with you what I'm up against here, people. Okay? I don't know. Okay, so let me start this. Okay? What's Amari doing now? Andre?
Huh?
What's Amari doing now?
I just let him down because he keeps on falling asleep.
Did he drink his apple juice? You want to bring me his bottle? Let's see how much he drank. As long as he doesn't get dehydrated, right?
He drank most of it.
Yeah, he did. He drank most of it. So that's good. It was about that much. So he drank a fair amount. So that's good. Okay? But not nearly enough calories, okay? Right? If I gave him this, he'd drink, and what? I'm going to put this in a bottle and you're going to see what it does. Even if I mix in peg with this. It doesn't work, people. Tisha says it does, but she doesn't realize that when there was that window of where it seemed like the peg, quote unquote, was working, I was giving him a fair amount of bran, blueberries, and bananas. Right? But, you know, there was a period of time when you couldn't even buy bananas. Corner store didn't have bananas. Kids would go out, couldn't find bananas. This is what I mean, right? You know, what is our government thinking, right? So there's been bananas. They found a few bananas, but now I'm even scared with bananas. What's going on with a banana? Let's just see. Let's see what it says about bananas. Yeah, in a bit, Andre, okay? I'm busy. Okay? Everybody putting pressure on Nana. He wants me to make muffins. Oh, boy. Banana. Reported health benefits. When ripe, usually indicated by the presence of spots, bananas are not only used as a snack treat, but are valuable for various ailments such as stomach ulcer, colitis, diarrhea, hemorrhoids, and for general energy. Oh, you see? Diarrhea. They didn't say constipation. Reports indicate that the inner surface of the banana skin may be applied directly to burns or boils for the healing effect. 88 calories for 100 grams. But it's more used to slow down diarrhea than it is to remove constipation. So maybe by giving him bananas, I've been constipating him. I don't know. I'm not a dietitian. I might end up becoming one, yet. I just might. It's hard to say. Okay, so I am going to do something here. I'm not sure what I'm doing. See, you can see what's going on. As if I have a lot of space to do this crap with. Right? Okay. But I'm up for the challenge. If I can do everything else on this little counter, I can do what I need to do now. Right? Because we've got everything that we need. Right? Don't we? Huh? Okay, so before we get on to this stuff, okay, we know what we're doing. Okay, that can be later on. Here's that prune, but we know not to heat it up in a pan no more. Okay, now that was 4 prunes, okay? This is the bran yesterday with the peaches, some milk, and then some maple syrup. But he wouldn't take it because obviously he came down with something. Alright, he's in there playing right now. So hopefully, I'm hoping he'll eat this. I will offer it all to him, whether he takes it or not, whether he takes any of it or not, I don't know, until I start, okay? I'm hoping he'll eat all of it, okay? And then later on, we can introduce that, right? How many calories are in that? I don't know, people. I didn't figure it out, okay? I'm working on this meal first. Oh yeah, so as I'm doing this, I'm now listening to Rebel News for a few minutes. I guess Mr. You Taking Up Space here has decided to bring Canada to a state of emergency and basically go to war with the people of Canada, people. Right? To break up these protests. Right? Because, you know, they're being treated as they're just wasteful, taking up space, pieces of garbage from a leader of a country. That shapeshifts from video to video to video that you don't even know who's who anymore. Okay? I'm just saying. So I'm going to go and see if Amari will eat this, okay? I'll be back. Okay, talking about violating the Criminal Code of Canada. Well, that's nothing new. Just look to Uncle John and what they did with Uncle John, people. Look what they did with Sierra and Andre, okay? They've been violating the Criminal Code of Canada for a long, long, long time. Anyway, if you notice, I ended up taking the rest of that brand because he was eating, okay? So, you know, he ate most of the prunes, most of the bran with the peaches. It was bran, peaches, and milk with maple sugar, 100% organic, right? You can see now this little bit here. I'm going to put this in the fridge. And when I get onto this with the cashews and stuff, I'll add it in because he liked that. He really liked that. Okay. Okay, so today. He ate everything except that little bit that I'm going to combine later with the next, what I'm going to do, which will be in a few hours from now, okay? So in the meantime,
people walking by these big rigs in Ottawa and pelting them with eggs. You know, the irony is kind of incredible.
Confirms
how do those
COVID, right, vaccines,
got on the shelf
analogs definitely contain graphene
David, I think a lot of it
oxide.
is jealousy.
That is for Dr. God, Dr. Death, whatever she is to you, to take note and to report on to the general public of British Columbia, Canada.
In a generation that's born in the cab of a tractor and in the cab of a truck.
Well, we've got our Prime Minister.
These are the people who are constantly maligned as Nazis,
this is on YouTube.
Backwoods, uneducated.
Tried to create a civil war in Canada
who are standing up for the
so that he can keep making money,
even their enemies,
off of these injections.
100%, you know, Sheila.
To which
we're talking the common man driving a common van, as the old
British Columbia, Canada.
And
I'm looking to turn this down here. To which the British Columbia British Columbia, Canada, the University of British Columbia, Canada is one of the main contributors to this analog that is being pushed right across the globe. Because I don't know the exact logistics around it. I don't know if it's the lipids or the protein. There's something that the University of British Columbia, Canada created in their labs to put into these analogs that's being pushed out by pharmaceutical industries. And for every shot that's given to somebody with these particles, concoctions, analogs. Analogs is when you have a combination of chemicals that create an analog, okay? Like you have fentanyl, you have the carfenol, you have the fentanyl, you have that type of there's different forms of fentanyl that fall under a certain analog, and then from the analog comes the different types of fentanyl. Okay? So carfenol has a different analog than fentanyl itself in terms of, we'll just say, medical grade fentanyl. Okay? Because they change the chemistry. They change the potion. They change the solution. Well, whatever. They change something. But it's still an analog. It's still something that was created by a man in a lab with chemicals, basically. Okay? And then they snuck in gene therapy, gene editing therapy. Okay? And whatever they did in the University of British Columbia, Canada, those stakeholders on the stock market make money for every time somebody is injected with it. Okay, that's the rabbit hole that a whole bunch of people are going down and know what the hell they're looking at. I just know that it's there, okay? And this Dr. God, Dr. Death, whatever she is to you, fails to report on it, people, as she gets up on the podium acting like she's Mother Teresa. as she supports an idiot that wants to sit up there and say my grandson takes up space right along with the rest of my family who's still alive. Because we already know what happened to the other 3 that are dead. Under that premise that's being pushed out in society that props up their freaking legislation that allows for assisted suicide to get rid of the ones that take up space. Because then they can harvest the organs, people, whether they done it through legal fucking means or whether they do it through illegal means, to which that props up the underground economy and it keeps fucking Canada up there in, we're one of the so-called better countries because our economy is thriving. Yeah, half of the economy is thriving only because of the underground economy, whether it's through the corrupt housing market, casino market, fentanyl sales, illegal organ harvesting, freaking creating bodysuits. Oh. The whole situation is morbid. And now Trudeau wants to take it to a whole new fucking level because he wants to be like his daddy. State of an emergency. Because he wants to make money off of that, whatever it is that's connected to the University of British Columbia, Canada. As they lie to the public, people. Really. Only tell you half-truths, threaten you, scare you, intimidate you, coerce you, fire you, put you on the run, isolate you, lock you out, make you drink from that fountain over there, the black one, right? As if. And then accuse you of being the racist because they got nothing else to freaking say when it has nothing to do with race. Except for maybe in the case of my family, because we do have black in the family. It's that one drop rule, people. Anyway. I'll just turn this off, leave it off. Obviously, I'm stressed out, right? And then when I get on to making that other stuff, I'll keep it with this video, keep it short, see if he likes it. And if he does, great, right? And then I'll end the video. And then we'll go on to the next meal for Amari, okay? And we'll get into counting calories so that when I have to go deal with this situation with the teams, I can show them that I haven't dropped the ball here, people. Okay? Right? And until you walk in my shoes, you don't know what it feels like. Okay? But then it goes back to that loosh harvesting for the ones that gotta destroy and maim and injure and hurt and kill and just exploit and whatever. That's the only way they can sustain themselves. No other way. So that's why Trudeau's bringing in war. And he's using public service sector workers to do it. Because he's a coward that's just thinking about making money for his stakeholders, people, at the expense of killing off fucking Canadians and anybody else that's stupid enough to jump on his bandwagon without doing their research. I mean, how many times does somebody have to get up in front of you and look different for you to realize that there's something wrong? Right? I do realize people fluctuate with their weight, you know? Some people do that. Shimei used to be able to do that. But it's something else altogether. I told you people. Okay? I told you people. I told you people. I told you people. There's something wrong with that guy. There's something fucking wrong. If you can't freaking see it for yourself, then there's something wrong with you too.
will assist.
Okay, so under the Fair Use Act,
that will ensure that
there you go, people.
Traffic
got to protect that dollar coming in for every inoculation that's put upon the general public. That's what it's all about,
between the RCMP,
right? That's what the Canadian government, federal, is fighting for. Even though provincial governments don't even follow federal law under the Criminal Code of Canada. Okay,
hold the law, be they municipal law.
Drama queen without his pink suit on.
Bill Blair,
Does that look like Trudeau to you? So they're working with authorities to make sure blah, 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 so that illegal organ harvesting can continue right across Canada as the public union sector, RCMP, and blah, 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 continues to facilitate that illegal activity, blah, 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 because it brings in too much money, stimulates the economy, blah, 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 blah. But everybody that's got fucking a stake in it, they're not going to stand up and fight against it because they're making too much money, blah, 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 blah. And being that the Criminal Code of Canada is obsolete and doesn't mean jack shit. Right? I don't even know why, blah, 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 we got a fucking federal government in the first place. Because as far as I'm concerned, all they're trying to do is ensure that those dead bodies keep coming in, blah, 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 and it's going ching, 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 with all within the communities, with all the crooks, blah, 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 because that is the reality. That's what Uncle John showed us. That's what Shemay showed us. That's what Sierra showed us. Blah, 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 blah. And as far as this guy is concerned, we're nothing but a waste of fucking space, blah, 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 blah. And the proof is in the pudding. Shemay was a waste of space, blah, 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 blah. The RCMP didn't do their job, blah, 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 blah. They didn't do their job with Sierra, blah, 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 blah. And they sure in the hell don't protect the elderly, blah, 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 blah. Because we know that this guy promotes assisted suicide, blah, 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 blah. Because at the end of the day, it's bling, 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 blah, 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 blah for him and his kind who like to shape shift.
We will continue.